Hello viewers, this is Dr. Smita Trivedi and you're watching the third episode of the NIBM podcast series, NIBM Insight. At the outset, a big thank you for all the encouraging remarks and the feedback on the first two episodes. Today we have got a very interesting episode lined up. Our student, Siddhant Sonowane, would be talking to my faculty colleague, Professor Kaushik Mukherjee. Professor Kaushik Mukherjee is Professor and Dean Training at National Institute of Bank Management. His books have been published by Tata McGraw-Hill and Penguin Random House, and his articles have featured in top national and international journals. Today, Professor Kaushik Mukherjee is going to share some insights from his research work, and he is going to talk of how banks and self-service technology have a symbiotic relationship. Professor Mukherjee's research shows that when customers do banking using self-service technology, they experience both positive and negative emotions. Positive emotions lead to positive outcomes like cross-buying and positive word of mouth, while negative emotions lead to negative outcomes like patronage reduction and third-party complaining. This tells us that banks have to look at customer emotions to fulfill customers' aspirations and needs. Tune in for a very insightful episode.
Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. My name is Siddhant Sonowane and I'm a student of NIBM from the PGDM batch 22-24. I welcome you all to a new episode of the NIBM podcast. Today we have with us Professor Dr. Kaushik Mukherjee. Dr. Mukherjee is the Dean and Professor of the Executive Training Program conducted here at NIBM. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
I thank you for your valuable time. So, our topic for today's discussion revolves around the research paper that Dr. Mukherjee has recently published by the title Self-Service Technology, Examining the Role of Emotions. The research paper basically focuses on the retail customers of banks and their usage of the self-service technology. So, our first question for the podcast is, sir, how can banks leverage the digital technology in order to fulfill the aspirations of their customers?
Yes, thank you very much, Siddhant. I think it's a very important question. Well, today, as we know, the world has become digital, and it is going to get increasingly more and more digitalization will take place as time progresses. And banks today not only need to keep connected with the customers, but also start building relationships with the customers using the online medium. Now, while this may seem to be a challenge, but then behind every challenge is a very big opportunity. And therefore, what I would like to explain now is how can banks leverage this opportunity. The fact that the customer is available through online or digital medium means that the bank is privy to interpreting the needs of the customer, each customer, in an individualistic manner. Therefore, the customer and the bank, their interactions can be analyzed using analytical tools, and personalized offers can then be prepared by the bank and offered to the customer. So when we say personalized offers, these offers would take into account the aspirations of the customer, which the bank can understand through engagement. Second, the historical transactions of the customer with the bank will also help them to understand what kind of products and services they should offer to the customer. And third, over a period of time, you will see that the digital medium can be leveraged to foster better and better loyalty through rewards that the bank can offer to the customer on the basis of the business transactions that the customer has offered to the bank.
Yes. So our next question is, sir, what all strategies the banks can use in order to compete with the newly born applications like fintechs?
Yes, and another very interesting point. Now the fintechs in a way are digital born entities, and in that way they are very different from the banks. However, the banks have two very big advantages. The first is that because the banks are regulated entities, they are privy to taking deposits from the customers. This would mean that the cost of the funds for the banks will always be much more affordable compared to those of fintechs or NBFCs or any other entities. And therefore, the banks should start leveraging this advantage. Secondly, to take off from the point which I raised in the first question, you will see that if the banks can develop close relationships with customers and increase the share of wallet with the customers, then the banks will be able to foster better loyalty. What do we mean by this? If a customer has availed only a single product, for example, a retail customer has availed of only a housing loan from a bank, then that customer may not be extremely loyal. But through the interactions, through personalized offers, if the bank can get that same customer to avail of 4 or 5 different products, which could be a mix of asset products, liability products, third-party products like mutual funds and so on and so forth, you will see that that customer will definitely become much more loyal. And once that loyalty kicks in, then the bank will have the further privilege of having customers cross-buying more products on their own. Remember that fintech agencies are broadly, if you see, they are payment processors. By and large, they are digital payment processors. But the bank is privileged in a way to offer a bouquet of products to customers, whereby they can very easily extend the share of wallet of customers through continued product sales and continued services.
Yes. So our last question for this podcast is, how is NIBM helping the banks with their digitalization journeys?
Yes, at NIBM we are privileged to offer about 150 odd executive training programs every year, and these are offered on our campus as well as through the digital channels. And what we must help banks understand today is that today is the day of digital customer engagement. And what do we mean by this? So our programs help banks to understand the nuances of digital customer engagement. There are 3 parts to digital customer engagement. The first one is cognitive. That means getting customers to think about a bank's products. So our programs will help the bankers understand the strategies and the approaches that can be taken to getting customers to think more about a bank's products and their brand. That's the second aspect, is the affective part. So how do we build emotional engagement with the customers? So our programs help bankers to interpret opportunities whereby they can build this kind of emotional bonding with the customers. And the third aspect of digital customer engagement is the behavioral aspect. What is this behavioral aspect? At the end of the day, the customer is expected to act on certain offers. So what are those elements that banks need to put into the offers in order to get customers to act on them? So that is the behavioral part which customers would exercise in order to deepen their relationships with the banks. I'm very happy to share with you that few months back, in association with NSE Talent Sprint, NIBM launched a 6-month-long weekend program on digitalization and the role of banking leaders in this era. And it has taken off very well. The first cohort was very, very delighted with their upgradation of knowledge and understanding of digitalization. Now, why are these programs important? Because you see, today digitalization has permeated into all aspects of banking, whether it is credit, whether it is risk, whether it is customer management, whether it is treasury, you name it. Every aspect has been permeated through digitalization. And therefore, today our programs have this deep understanding of how digitalization should be the bedrock for banking in years to come.
Yes, that's wonderful, sir. And I would like to thank you, sir, again for giving us your valuable time and knowledge. I hope the audiences find this video insightful and knowledgeable. So thank you all, and we hope to see you in the next video. Welcome you.